So someone asked me if I could make a video giving tips about how to move up in social economical class based on my own social assumption, but the truth is I come from money. My mom still have quite a bit of money. I grew up going to private schools with chauffeur, private chefs, maids, you name it, we had it. Grew up in a villa with a swimming pool. So I thought that it was important to be transparent about that. But when I was 19, I fell off with my family and I moved to Germany by myself. And back then I used to live in the hood. Okay, baby, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a driving license up until age 26, 27, right? So quite late. That is the age where most people do have a car and a driving license. And you know, we're about 10 years later and I live in a high-rise apartment with a concierge, a garage. I do have a car and a driving license now. So in this one, I'm going to share with you the tips that I utilize in order to get here in the last 10 years. And the first one is understand that sometimes you have to keep it cute and you have to keep it mute. So you don't always have to keep it 100. I know that your mom told you that, and yes, keep it 100 with your mom. Okay, always tell your mom the truth, I guess, if you have a good mom, but that doesn't necessarily apply to other people. Do you really think that Michelle Obama was always keeping it real with people back when they were campaigning for Barack to become president? Like, do you feel like in a fundraiser when somebody made a comment about her hair, she immediately checked them or kept it real with them? I highly doubt that. I know that Michelle is a very strategic person because I did read an article where she was talking about quite ghosting some of her friends. So I know that she's somebody who doesn't play. Okay, so you don't always have to keep it real. Always assess the situation. Sometimes you have to keep it cute, and you know what, sometimes you even have to keep it mute. And I know it hurts you guys, but you really do have to assess what's in your best interest in say situation. Now the second and probably most important tip that I have for you is do not give a lineage to men who do not have a legacy. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. Never give lineage to men who do not have a legacy to pass down to that lineage to begin with, aka don't procreate with broke men. Okay, do not have kids with men who are struggling financially, especially if you are struggling financially. Listen, do not have kids with anybody if you are struggling financially, period, because kids are a ginormous responsibility. They cost a lot of money. They also are very costly time-wise. Like, once you have kids, you're tied down. You cannot go to school, to uni. It's going to be very difficult to do that, you know, unless you find somebody that you can trust to care for your child while you are in school. You're in deep age, okay? And we know how hard it is to find people that you can trust with your kids, because we know how many adults, 8 out of 10 people who have experienced some form of touching, you know what I mean, right? So it's very, very hard to find people you can trust, even among your own family members. So I recommend do not have kids if you're struggling. And you know, this may be a very, very unpopular opinion, but I personally do not think that any woman should have more than 2 baby fathers. Like, if you procreated with one man and things didn't work out and you met somebody else and you feel like, oh, this is really the one, right? And then you procreate with that one as well. If things don't work out, don't procreate again. I don't care. I know you think he's the love of your life, but remember how you thought the other 2 were the love of your life too. Listen, I would never understand 3x3s and 4x4s, baby mama. Like, it don't even make sense. Like, that says so much about you. And I don't care how wealthy your baby daddies are. I don't care if these women are doing it for a child support check. Like, being a 3x3 or a 4x4 says a lot about your picker. I don't know if the girls realize, like, it doesn't only say stuff about the man, it says stuff about your picker as well. Because you picked wrong 1 time, okay, twice, 3 times, okay, maybe it can happen. Now you pick wrong 4 times, baby, maybe you is the problem. Okay, maybe you is the problem. So anyways, just stay away from kids. If you're struggling financially, just make sure you get yourself together first before you procreate with anybody, especially more than 2 times, because then, you know, you're just asking to stay poor forever. Also, be very mindful of the men you associate with. Like, if you're struggling, then you have no business being with a man who's broke. Like, in my country, there's a saying that says, if a tree ain't taller than you, you won't be able to benefit from its shades. And I feel like true words have never been spoken. Like, if you're struggling, you have no business being with a man who's struggling, but he can't help you. Like, what's the point? Okay, he can't help you with groceries, he can't help you if your car breaks down, he can't help you with nothing. If you have kids, he can't help you, you know, getting them diapers, clothes, milk, shoes, I don't know. He can't help you with nothing. Okay, as a matter of fact, he may even make things worse for you, okay, because now somehow his problems are also your problems by association. So your life is getting worse, okay? So don't associate with men who are struggling, especially if you're struggling. Like, just don't do it. Nothing good can come from it. Even women who are doing well financially shouldn't associate with men who are struggling. Like, they should always try to be with men who are at least on their level. But at least women who are, you know, up there financially, they can bounce back from associating with somebody, you know, who's at the bottom. You, however, if you're struggling, you just can't, you know, you can't afford bouncing back from it. Bringing kids in the mix, we just talked about that, gonna make your situation so much worse. So yeah, do not associate with men who are struggling financially if you're also struggling financially, because nothing good can come out of it. Seriously. Something else is, don't be too quick to cut people off. Like, learn how to compartmentalize. I can never say the word, but you know, this is something that I really feel like we can learn from men. Men are master compartmentalizers. Like, men are very, very good at putting women in boxes. Like, a man will meet you 3 times and already know, you know, if your wife material, if your girlfriend material, if, you know, he just want to get into your pants, if you allow him to get in there, and they know, right? And I feel we need to do that, but not only with men, but with friends as well, with family members. You know, the emphasis right now online is and you know, as somebody who's cut off her own sperm donor, I'm all for cutting, okay? But sometimes cutting is not the wisest. It's not what's in your best interest. Sometimes you just have to put people in a compartment and not actually cut them out of your life, but know exactly, you know, what you can use them for, know what you can count on them for, what you cannot count on them for, when you can call them, when you cannot call them. I feel like that is a lot more beneficial than just cutting them off, because the truth is, if you're gonna cut, you're gonna cut everybody, because nobody is perfect at the end of the day. You know, if you cut people off at the first offense, like, or the slightest offense, you're gonna be left out, you know, all by yourself, because again, most people are not perfect. So just learn how to, you know, deal and cope, except of course if, you know, they're really toxic, it's detrimental to your mental health, etc, etc, then in that case, of course, arrivederci, okay? Also, make sure that you always look impeccable. Now, this doesn't sound like a level up tip, but it really is. What I feel a lot of people don't understand is that the way you carry yourself tells a story to the world. It tells the story of how much you care about you. And trust and believe, the world is going to follow suit, okay? If you walk around looking like you don't give a damn about yourself, then the world is certainly not going to give a damn about you. It's unfortunate. We can regret it, you guys. I wish we live in La La Land, okay? I wish we live in a world where everybody would be treated with basic human decency, no matter what they look like. But unfortunately, that is not the world that we live in, okay? We live in a world where appearance matter, first impressions matter. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So make sure that you never leave your house looking raggedy, never leave your house looking like who did and why, because you never know who you're going to bump into, right? You never know what opportunity you're going to bump into. You just never know. So make sure you always take impeccable care for yourself. Dress for the life you want, you guys. Dress like you'd like to get dressed. So really make sure that every day, you know, you look your absolute best. You look clean. You know, you don't have to have a full face of makeup, right? But look clean. Make sure your nails are clean, you know, polished. Even if you have to do the manicure yourself, make sure that, you know, at least they're clean. Make sure your hair, okay, really important. Make sure you got your hair together. Even if it's a bun, you know, make sure it smells good, it's clean, it's neat. Very important. Deodorant, ironing your clothes, obviously wiping your shoes down, wearing the right undergarment, very underrated, okay? So make sure you have at least those basics unlocked every single day, right, before you leave your house. And of course, keep your weight in check, ladies. I don't feel like there's anything I can say that will emphasize the importance of weight in certain spaces, like seeing Oprah Winfrey get onto those GPA as soon as they hit the market, okay? Her getting on Ozempic, Mounjaro, whatever it is she's taking, as soon as those drugs became legal, is really the best example you will ever have, okay? I mean, Oprah doesn't even need to lose the weight at this point. She's a gazillionaire, okay? She has so much money. Everybody know who she is, but yeah, and still she chose to do it. I don't feel like I can give you, like I said before, any better example than this. This really emphasizes the importance again of weight in certain spaces. And again, this may be controversial, but telling the truth is overrated, okay? Like, the truth in and of itself is not overrated, but telling the truth to everybody is overrated. Okay, only tell the truth to people you can trust. And as someone who's almost 38, I can tell you there are not a lot of people in this life that you should trust. So be very selective with what you share with people and lie. Honestly, like, you know, especially to gossips, to people who are just, you know, trying to get your information in order to go out and tell it to other people, lie. You know, I personally do not feel like I owe the truth to anybody, especially not, you know, to gossips, to people who are jealous of me, to people who genuinely don't want the best for me. Like, I don't feel like they're entitled to the truth. I don't feel like I have to tell them the truth by fire, by force. As a matter of fact, I would tell different stories to different people so that, you know, they can exchange their notes and argue about it. Like, I genuinely don't care. Okay, so I'm not saying don't tell the truth, you know. Always tell the truth to your mom, I guess. Again, if you had a good mom and stuff, you know, to your best friend. Again, if this is somebody that has proven in the past that they're trustworthy, but, you know, don't be too forthcoming. Don't go around, you know, telling your business to everybody, because your business ain't nobody's business. Okay, be out here telling people your next move and stuff. Just be selective, you know, with information and who you share it with. Now, what I'm about to say may not seem like a level up tip, but this truly is a belief. Believe that you can move up in social economical class. And again, you guys, I know that it sounds very cliche and like a duh thing, really, but it really isn't, especially if you come from a family where nobody, you know, is abundant, right? If your mom was struggling, if your grandma was struggling, if you live in the hood all of your life, if all of your family lived in the hood all of their life, then it can seem like, you know, this is as high as it's gonna get. It can seem like this is the ceiling, especially because people also pass down self-limiting beliefs, right? There is a reason why poverty is the hardest class to get out of. It's because beliefs are passed down, like money is the root of all evil, when really even the good book says the love of money is the root of all evil, not money in and of itself. So poor people pass down beliefs to their kids, self-limiting belief, you know, just get you a job at the post office, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the third, because they didn't do it right. So they're projecting that onto you. So you owe it to yourself to believe that you can do it. You know, in the words of Senegalese writer extraordinaire Fatou Diom, you can imagine very many things and only achieve some of them, but nobody, literally no one, has ever achieved something that they haven't imagined first, and true words have never been spoken. Everything exists twice, you guys. First in the spirit and then in the physical. This very chair that I'm sitting on to film this video for you guys, it existed twice. First in the mind of somebody, whoever created it, and then in the physical. So believe that you can change your situation. You know, do what you need to do in order to believe it. Go online and Google women who are in private jet, black women in private jet, you know, dark-skinned black women in private jet. Print that and put it in your room in order to see that, you know, abundance is out there for people who look just like you. Also, if you live in the hood, get out of there. Like, if you can't afford to go out and live somewhere else for now, still make the effort of getting out of the hood. You know, get out of it. Like, go out every day, make an effort to go out in other neighborhood and walk around there. Look for a job outside of the hood. Don't look for a job in the supermarket in the hood. Look for a job outside of the hood, so that every day you can socialize with other people and open up your chances to make friends and associate from another social economical class, learn a second language, so that, you know, you can just have more density to you, more fluff, right? Pick up actual hobbies, you know, not scrolling online. Scrolling is not a hobby, okay? But yeah, you girls, the commenter was so right. You know, it's not every day we talk about problems. Sometimes we have to talk about solutions, and that's what I tried to do in this video. I really hope that it's helpful to somebody. If you liked it, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, let the girls know what are the tips that you've utilized in order to get out of the hood. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well. We're on the road to 3K, and I would love to get there with your support. I know we can do it. It's possible. Don't forget to become a member as well. Bye guys, thanks for watching. Mwah.